Fox host Jesse Waters had a bit of a field day after a Democratic staffer was involved in a bit of
sexual anarchy.
So Democratic Senator Ben Cardin's former aide was caught on video having some intercourse with another unnamed male in the Senate Judiciary Committee's hearing room. Now, we found out, because there's a tape, and the aide, of course, as I mentioned, was fired, and, you know, a big scandal, apparently. Now, that said, Waters decided to have a little bit of fun on his show. Okay, sure, I get it. But then he decided to compare this to January 6th.
When I realized that this was a Democrat staffer, I have to say I was very relieved. But I should have seen it coming. You know, after they did the fire alarm pulling, the throwing of the elbows, a sex tape was inevitable. Mm-hmm. And now it's a race to the bottom, Greg.
It is.
They've been telling us, the Democrats, that they need to keep the government out of the bedroom. Well, they just turned the government into the bedroom, Jessica.
I like it.
And to me, this is worse than January 6th. So much worse. Because they say they defiled the Congress on... What is this? We had a couple guys throw their feet up on Nancy's desk. What is this? They said they obstructed an official government proceeding. They delayed the certification for, like, what, 2 hours? They're not going to be able to have a hearing in this room for weeks. This thing needs to be deep cleaned.
First off, so, look, he already lied about this. The throwing elbows actually involved Republicans. You remember Tim Burchett and Kevin McCarthy, you know, elbowing each other, you know, as the whole, speakership fight. Do you remember that? No? Slipped your mind? No, it's for the sex tape. Okay. Oh, they got us. They got us. Yes, you had a sex tape scandal involving a Democrat. It's not like that's never happened before. But it is kind of funny, though, how both Madison Cawthorn and George Santos had made those allegations as it comes to Republicans, not only with, of course, sex, but also, drug-fueled sex parties. But it is this guy who ends up getting in trouble. That is interesting. You know what that tells me? It happens on both sides. I'm not equivocating. I'm just saying that you're not going to convince me that Congress isn't a gigantic frat party. I'm pretty sure it is. You know, almost everybody's involved, right? Now, I'm not saying, everybody. I am also saying that it is usually the most conservative people that are, publicly all conservative, pious. Those are the ones that are getting down the hardest, all right? But not always. That said, those same people that I just mentioned might be better at not getting caught. All right. But anyway, to the January 6th remarks, and that's what really bothered me, okay? You want to have some jokes, make fun, whatever. I don't care. But compared to January 6th, no, people died. You had a police officer who was killed, a rioter who was killed, okay? People were injured. Did Jesse Waters forget about that? Did you forget about, all that stuff that happened? All the vandalism? Oh, they put up their feet up on Nancy's desk. Did you forget about how, some of the rioters were smearing literal feces all over the walls and on the floor? Did you forget about that? Stealing things? That's larceny. What are you doing? You forget about all that? Look, he didn't care about it. That's why I didn't mention it. Okay? He knows. He didn't forget. But at the end of the day, look, he's going to use this, which is, again, this is the ex-staffer obviously did something wrong, of course, right? But he's using this and this invasion of privacy, right, to push a complete revisionism of what happened on January 6th. To make that comparison is ridiculous. You know what? I would rather have people having sex on the stairs at the Capitol than what actually happened that day. At least it would have been, love. In a weird way. I would rather have that had that than the violence, okay? To have a little love in on the Capitol steps. But anyway, I got another video here from Waters, who apparently got a little serious Take a look.
Permission to be taken seriously?
No.
Well, knock yourself out. Let's see how that goes.
You can't do this and get caught and claim you're the victim. That's the Hunter Biden defense. You can't break all the laws or all of our moral codes and say, no, for judging me, that's wrong. You can't judge me. That's what Hunter has done. That's what when you break the law, you say, oh, it's systemic racism. Or I'm the victim of capitalism if I'm homeless. We have to bring shame back, Jessica.
You ever notice that it always comes down to Hunter Biden? No, Hunter Biden, no. First of all, okay, the dude was fired from his job, which I don't disagree with. You were caught having sex at work. Don't do that, okay? Don't have sex at work. There's a time and place for that. So I don't think there's anybody out there that's disagreeing, other than this guy, with saying, okay, if you're going to do that at work, then you're not going to work. I mean, think about it, any other workplace other than, I guess, for, you know, if you're a sex worker, right? Having sex at work, that's literally your job. But anywhere else, that's a no-go. No, you can't be doing that because you're going to get fired, right? There is a time and place for that. And so, again, I kind of agree, like, okay, yes, you know, you can't get caught and be the victim. So I guess kind of agree with that point there. But the shame thing I found was pretty interesting. Okay. We should bring back shame. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Look, nobody should be seeing that video because it is a private video. Okay. It shouldn't be broadcast to the public. That is incredibly embarrassing. Yes, of course, you shouldn't have done it in the first place, but it doesn't mean the video should be there for everybody to see, right? It is that invasion of privacy, and I don't, you know, I don't like that. But it is weird how Jesse brings up the public shame. We need to publicly shame people. Just makes me think how there are some people that are into that. Okay, I'm not going to name names, right? But there are people who always seem to talk about the need to, oh, shame. Oh, yeah, I've got to bring back the shame and the embarrassment. Oh, yeah, we show it all over the place. Yeah. I'm just kind of curious, like, those people seem like the ones who would most enjoy being shamed. So I'm not saying that Jesse Waters is into that or anything like that, publicly shamed. I'm also not saying that he isn't either.